You're
Ditto.
Yo, we be on the same wavelength all the time.
Exactly, yo.
Real shit.
Welcome to the show where no one ever disagrees. Untitled Social here, yo. What's going on, peeps?
What's up?
So today we're going to talk about drug clout, and using drugs to create a personality, all right? But first, welcome back to everyone who's watched the first video. If you want to, keep up with our content, please make sure you like and subscribe so you can, keep up with us, all right? Untitled Social.
Yep.
Subscribe, right?
Continue giving us feedback and letting us know your topics and your thoughts on what we've talked about. We really appreciate it. So yeah, let's keep it going.
Word.
So we're gonna dive into the topic. As we say, we're talking about drugs, and not like the good drugs.
And if you smoke them.
Nah, yeah. Well, I mean, you know what drugs we do, but
That's someone who
that's
smokes.
different. Don't put their business out there. But anyways, what I wanted to talk about, I don't know if you're familiar with the interview Future did on Genius.
Yeah, that's the one where he mentioned that he stopped drinking lean and he wouldn't tell anyone because of his image. When people stop messing with him.
Yeah. So essentially, he said that he was feeling a lot of pressures from outside sources. He didn't really mention exactly the names of those, but just saying like he felt like they weren't really going to respond to his new image just because of how he was brought, like the way he came up was, he promoted that a lot. Mm-hmm. So he was worried about, losing his fan base. So that's what restricted him from, not promoting drug use. He just continued to do that. Mm-hmm. So what I wanted to know, just kind of start there, like, how do you feel about that situation? With him knowing that he quit, and then still kind of promoting that image. How you feel?
Honestly, I'm not surprised. Mm-hmm. I do feel like, and I don't know, sometimes I just get a feeling that people do certain things to try to look cool, and I feel like drugs is one of them.
Definitely.
Unfortunately, drugs is something that can really take control of you, and it really takes a toll on your body and your mentality.
Yeah.
I feel like people should not be depressed or feed the depression more with drugs, especially when we're in an age where we feel like we kind of know it's the effects of it, and so many people have been overusing and things like that. So
for me, I felt like it was super selfish, and it was it was a coward act, just because.
You say.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm just gonna call it like I see it. I'm a big, I'm not gonna say I'm a big Future fan, but I do like Future's music. I have a weak spot for Ratchet stuff. I can't lie, it's bad.
Even her girl Ratchet. Slaps knee.
Anyways, the reason why though I was so disappointed, just because I think of the younger audience that listens to his music and how much, even if they don't know, how much they look up to these artists and they want to basically be them and do what they do. And it made me think of my little brother Mikhail, who's 15, and he's a rapper, and in his raps I've noticed he'll say oh, I'm about to pop this pill, or I'm drinking this lean. He doesn't do that because he get his ass whooped, but it's still you see the impact that these artists have on the younger generation. So for him to knowingly know that he quit for a reason because he knew it was bad for his health, but he's still well, I gotta make this money and I don't lose my fan base, so I'm gonna keep pushing the image. So I felt that was very, very selfish and cowardly, and I wasn't really here for it.
Word. And it's funny that you mentioned the younger generation.
Yeah.
I don't know why, when I was growing up, I feel like the only drug I was really thinking about or worried about was weed.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? Great. Yo, I'm gonna tag Jataya.
Exactly.
Yo, so it's funny how I feel like someone who's younger than me knows more drugs than me.
Man, they do.
Yo, when people start talking about like certain type of drugs, I'll be shocked at how much they know.
Right.
I'm like, do you got a PhD? I don't know, it's crazy, bro. So
chemist out here.
Word up. And unfortunately, and not even just pills and lean and things like that. You hear stories about weed being laced and things like that. Yeah. How many stars have we lost to overdoses and things mixed with fentanyl? R.I.P. Mac Miller. We lost Mac Miller, right? I feel like it's important for people to number one, the first option is to not do drugs. That's the first option for me.
Yeah.
Don't do drugs and try to seek help. And hopefully, maybe people who are watching this are not, doing drugs, but maybe you know someone who is. I just implore you to reach out to them. If anybody has any like good websites or anything for, like drug facilitations, or, link them in the bio, just try to help people out. But I think it's important to really know if you are going to do drugs, which don't do them, but if you are, to know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Don't just take in anything. Don't mix things, and just try to learn as best as you can, because you don't want any accidents to happen. You know what I mean? And I think that's important like that. People are finding fentanyl in their drugs, and unfortunately that's what happens to some people that we all know. Exactly. And I just think it's important to embrace the knowledge of what is in there.
Definitely. It's important to embrace the knowledge of what you're putting in your body, and then also what's making you feel like you need to put that in your body. So that just brings up like mental health awareness, and I feel like especially in the Black community, that's something that gets easily swept under the rug, where we're just like, oh, man up, or you could take it, and you just think about what, like, especially kids in like poor communities and things like that, what they're experiencing. Like they're experiencing like PTSD, depression, anxiety. So it kind of makes sense how they fall into that trap of into the drugs, and I think that the hip hop music and artists that continue to really push that image, it's not really helping. Speaking of that and knowing what you're putting in your body, I was doing a little research on lean, because I'm like, I've never done lean. No, I've never done lean. I know.
Think about that.
I know. I don't know why I had to think about that. That was really weird. I didn't do lean. Anyways, I'm sick, by the way, so I'm a little Anyways. So I decided to kind of look up just some more on lean, because I personally don't really understand what it is as well. And what I found out, there's an article on BBC. We'll drop the link as well. Okay, BBC is called How...
You saw she looked at me because she like
exactly.
Put the link in.
He puts the link in. He does all the edits. So yes, we'll put it, but he's going to do it. They had an article that I found was very interesting. It's from 2018, I believe, like April. But it's about how cough syrup in Nigeria is becoming a big problem as well. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that it was a problem in Nigeria. And upon reading the article, I found out that lean is, it's codeine, but it's in the opioid family. And they said that the same effects that it has, it has the same effects as heroin, like addiction. So like the feelings and kind of like the withdrawals you go through, and then just the addiction, like feeling like you really need it, is the same as heroin, which, as we know, heroin is very, very...
Can I tap in?
Yeah, go ahead.
That makes a lot of sense, because like the way lean is talked about, and the way, like these rappers and, just hearing it from the outside in, talk about it, it really does seem like it's addictive, like when you really think about it.
Yeah, and if you think about it too, just think of how the music sounds. It's very, very like dumbed down, it's slow, it's something like where you're in that whatever state you are in heroin. I don't know. I've never done heroin either, so I don't know what it makes you feel like. But I imagine that you feel like loopy. So it like all the new, like the way the sound has changed. I feel like it definitely makes sense. But what I found also interesting was that they said that 20 pharmaceutical companies were stationed in Nigeria. So they make it out there, and then they actually import it out here. But they were saying that a lot of what they import does get lost throughout the black market, which I thought was like crazy. And I'm just like, wow, look at this big picture. Sounds like conspiracy to me. But I just wanted to know your take on, like, do you think many in the community know what they're putting in their body as far as when it comes to lean? Because for me, that was the first time I ever heard about it.
And this is just a feeling. I don't know if people do know what they're putting into the body.
Yeah.
As if you ask me, I don't think people do know what they're putting into the body, because we're hearing so many stories about overdosing.
Yeah.
People just, addiction, right? Whether they admit it or not, you can see the addiction. You can see them, just leaning towards that. So I would not put it so far.
That was me leaning towards that.
Okay. Yo, we're not making fun of nobody. Just to put that out there.
Ooh, okay.
Yo, I didn't even see, when I watch this back, I'm probably gonna be
I know, you're gonna be
I didn't see. I was looking
dead at you too. I should say.
Nah, man, but for real though, I don't think people know to the full extent beyond lean.
Yeah.
What's in it and what they're putting into their bodies.
Yeah.
Lean, coke, or heroin, or any other drug that's really been associated with like, addiction and death.
Yeah. Real. I would love to know if you guys knew that lean was a part of the opioid family, because like for both of us, that was definitely a shocker. And I feel like because we don't know, this is why it's such a big issue. And I feel like probably if more people knew, because I know like people don't just be like, oh, I'm about to go shoot up heroin. You know what I mean? Like you can be like,
yeah,
what? But I feel like if I say I'm about to go sip some lean, it's like, oh, that's what's up. Like that's a cool thing to do. So yeah, I think everyone should be checking that out. Check the article out as well, just to educate yourselves. It's important.
For real. So thank you for tuning in, all right? Hopefully you enjoyed our conversation. We'll be back soon, all right? And again, if you want to know when our next video is coming up, subscribe, turn the notifications on, like, and you'll know, all right? Thank you, all right?
Stop stepping on the scissor.
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 Peace.